like all I remember.
Paul.
I don't know how many things.
He's been begging.
One more. I was like,
over
one
one more.
So, oh, that's all right. But I guess.
Yeah, I don't think they can say that one. I think
Hi, Don. How are you doing?
When you like it,
I am.
when do we?
Oh, that's a problem. She might have four, but I like it.
So we're doing.
Yeah. Because, shop, I mean, you can get shop as early as you're allowed to do that. You can't like it.
I know, yeah. I have to take a second.
Yes,
Are you right?
yeah, Susan, Simon didn't mention it to me, and I didn't know that she said you need to reach by.
No, so it's actually wrong, but I'm telling you that I do it wrong also, so, but maybe that's what I need to better. Better to do it.
Yeah, I would say, tell something small.
Well, that, I took things like
I put them in the same.
I know that, but that's why I said.
You don't get to enjoy them either. It's just,
And I
so the radio station.
so it's not for her down.
No, we're starting classes Sunday. I don't know if you sent me anybody. I think it's some random people.
I just sent it out to my people and said.
I don't know where. There's no way she's not stopping, so, but I don't think he's great.
Well, the remodel is okay.
I know, it's got to the point where I.
Yeah, I still don't know if he's like.
Oh, you didn't, they did.
Yeah, they don't have one there. From here. It's not particularly it's hard.
First right in.
He's on the list, but then he had to be a chance. I still don't know what his story. But then his girlfriend also says she's going to take this class or this class. But I don't believe that. Okay, yeah.
Well, yeah, but if I don't know.
Okay, well, good. I mean, for the, I'm sorry I couldn't.
No, perfectly fine, perfectly fine. We're good for my.
Oh, yeah, no, thank you, I appreciate it.
I mean, I just never.
No, you should pass it on, and you never know, maybe great. But not that we actually have an event, but it's hard to get in general, even for this one. Whatever to get.
Absolutely.
But then I appreciate you passing it on.
You know, I just wanted to.
Yeah, thank you, I'm really sorry. But I feel so bad for these guys.
Yeah. And he was a great guy.
Except what we got was amazing anyway, you know. Yeah. But because they
That's fine. Good.
All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, thanks for being here. We are going to begin on page 1, Yedid Nefesh, additional soul on Shabbat. And actually, even before we do that, let's just say, Baruch atah Adonai shekabalani kol tov, although they're not really here yet, but thinking about Liri Albag, Danielle Giboa, Karina Ariev, and Nama Levy. May they come home safely tomorrow.
Amen.
All right. So we'll have 4 additional souls joining us this Shabbat. Yedi nefesh havarachman, Yedi nefesh havarachman, Misho Chadecha, El Retzonecha, Misho Chadecha, El Retzonecha. Yarutza go to Yismachu Hashemayim, page 6. The heavens rejoice, the earth be glad. Yismachu Hashemayim, Yismachu Hashemayim, Yismachu Hashemayim, V'tageh haaretz, Yiramayim, 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 U'Eloho, Yiramayim, 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 U'Eloho. Page 9. מזמור שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, כי נפלאות עשה, הושיע לו ימינו, וזרוע קודשו, איי 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 הודיע אדוני ישועתו, לאלה הגויים, כי צדקתו, זכר חסדו ואמונתו לבני ישראל, ראו כל ארצי הארץ, את ישוע אלוהינו, הריעו לאדוני כל הארץ, פיצו ירדנו וזמרו, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בקול זמרה. בחצוצרות בקול שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, ירם הים ומולו, אל ביום ואיי איי בקולו ימחקו יד ענייננו, לפני אדוני כיפה, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל וצלם, ועמים ומישרים. Ay nay 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 ay nay nay ay Page 13. Adonai, Fado D. We're gonna start with a little nigun that'll lead into the Fado D. Shabbat Kodesh. Shabbos Kodesh le'Adoni Nikrat Kala Pnei Shabbat Nekavela Shamor v'Zachor v'Libor Echad Ish Mi'anu El HaYuchad Adonai Echad Shemo Echad Shemo Tiferet v'Tefila le'Adoni Nikrat Kala Pnei Shabbat Nekavela Mikrat Shabbat Nechuvenecha Ki Mekor Haveracha Merosh Mikeret Nerucha Sofa Aseva Machshava Tekila le'Adoni Nikrat Kala Pnei Shabbat Nekavela. Proverbs 17 Yamin Usmoti Froti V'Yeta Nunai Taritzi Al Yadid Ben Farsi Benis Becha Ben Agila le'Adoni Nikrat Kala Pnei Shabbat Nekavela. All right, face the entrance. Going with Shalom Ateret Bala Gamezita Uvetola Tochegune Amzegula Boi Kala Boi Kala Echadoni Nikrat Kala Pnei Shabbat Nekavela. You may be seated, and we say to any mourners in our midst, may God comfort you with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Page 19. Moshir Yom HaShabbat Odel Adonai U'Zamer L'Shimcha Elyon U'Zamer L'Shimcha Elyon Le'Hagim HaBoker HaSecha Ve'emunat HaLelon Alei Asor Continue our own, page 19 and 20. Tzadik Atamar Yifrach Ka'eretz Lebanon Yisresh Shetu Himrei Tagavei Kadosh Hatzot Eloheinu Yafrichu O Yedu Beser Vishana Sitazar, Afti Konteval Timo, Akon Kisahania, Lamata, Nasunero, Taranai, Nasunero, Tolam, Nisunero, Yam. Mayim Rabim Adirim Mishreya Adir Bamarom Adonai Elotecha Nehem Numeo Please rise briefly for the Baruchu. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed. May be seated. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Asher V'Baruch Ma'ari. Tamidim lo chalin le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Ba'arim Aramim. Avat Olam, page 44. Avat Olam, Beit Yisrael. Page 25. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol lecha, b'chol nafshecha, b'chol elecha, ve'hayu ha'marim ha'eleh, asher lefi mitzarecha, hayom levavecha, v'shinatam levanecha, v'niharta bam, v'shifecha v'nitecha, uvlechtecha v'terech, uv'shofecha uv'kumecha, uv'jarta le'ot ha'liyanecha, v'hayu totafo v'yinecha, uv'satam, all mitzvot v'techa, uv'vishorecha. תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת. Well, Debbie Friedman Mikamach over to on page 32. Yaakov, Yomer Chazak Mimenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ka'al Yisrael. 33. Hashkidenu Adonai, Eloheinu L'Shalom, Techa'anigenu Amkeinu L'Chaim. Hashkidenu Adonai, Eloheinu L'Shalom, Techa'anigenu Amkeinu L'Chaim. All right, we'll start this side today. Sukkot Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Baruch Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, V'kol Amo Yisrael, V'al Yerushalayim. Please rise from the Shabbat, page 34. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'torah berit olam. V'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Shabbat. page 35, we're going to invite Roxy to come up. Roxy Windler is going to come and lead us in the Chatzi Kaddish. Her bar mitzvah's in about a month. Actually, a few weeks, though. She knows better than I.
Should I start now? Just a heads up, I have a cold, so I'm kind of congested.
Alright. Amen. Yesh me Rabba Mevorah. Le'olam ve'olam ha'ya yiparach.
Yiparach v'yishtabach, yitar v'yirah v'yinaseh, yipadar v'yaleh v'yithala, shemei kedusha.
B'richu.
Le'evan v'kol berchata v'shirata.
Zush v'chata v'nechemata. Damiran ve'alma.
Yivaril.
Amen. I should go out. Private Amidah, pages 37 through 48. Shalom Rama Yisrael Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rama Yisrael Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol Today we're going to go right to Kaddish Shalem on page 53. יתגדל ויקרא שמי רבם, למען יברח ירצם לתמכותי בחיי פנו ויומכן לכל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו, יהי שמי רבם מבורך, לעולם יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, יתברך בנו מנעשה, ותגזר ויתעלה ויתעל שמי קודשה, לעולם יקום ברחתה ושירתה, שפחת ונחמתה תמירם ביומה ואמרו, מצות הנבות ולחשו הכל ובנות ישמע ואמרו, שלום רב משמיא וכן נביא כל ישראל ואמרו, עושה שלום במרומה ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו, Okay, a little longer historical moment today, which is why we skipped right to the Kaddish Shalem. We're up to Rabbi Leonard Kahan now, who had the misfortune of being the rabbi who followed Rabbi Harold Schulweis here. Not only was Rabbi Schulweis a very difficult act to follow, the synagogue had already begun a numerical decline. And he bore the brunt of that, even though it was already happening before he got here. He was also young and right out of school, and I think maybe he had 1 year somewhere else or as a chaplain or something, and they ate him alive. But there's a happy ending, at least for him. So the rabbi, in 1970, according to the minutes, the Rabbi Search Committee brought in 4 different rabbis for interviews. They chose Rabbi Leonard Kahan. They were in negotiations. Some of the things that were in there was I shouldn't tell anybody this, the synagogue got his honorariums, which is not true today. He made $16,500 in salary, 7% pension, 1 month vacation, and medical coverage. And he had to live at 341 MacArthur temporarily until they found another house for him. So that's the Baum Center today. And if you could have seen the Baum Center before we restored it, under the leadership of Rick Eager and others, wouldn't want to live there. Anyway. Some of the things that also show up in the minutes of his first few years, he complains that the board of directors are not going to enough functions and services. He announces that at confirmation on Shavuot, the class will be presenting at cantata. They put signs on the synagogue, freedom for Soviet Jews. And then the big thing that happens, which is all over the minutes, is a woman named Mary Berkowitz requests to have an aliyah at her son's bar mitzvah. And there's a big vote to discuss it at a special congregational meeting. Already, one member, a man named Sidney Greenstein, had resigned over an all-female aliyah at Simchat Torah. Today, I can't even announce an all-male or all-female necessarily aliyah, but it's a whole different kind of things that are controversial. But back then, having the all-female aliyah, very controversial. Greenstein resigned. Then they bring it up at the bar mitzvah, at the board meeting about the bar mitzvah. 2 separate proposals passed: aliyot for women, and that bat mitzvahs could now take place on Saturdays, because they had not previously. Although some people say they had,
What year was this again?
This is 1970. I don't know if it's ahead of its time. I mean, I think we were behind some of the other conservative synagogues in the Bay Area, in particular. But we had some. Anyway, we had these folks. So, by the way, there were the motions passed 266 to 77. So, which tells you not only was it an overwhelming majority, but a lot of people attended that meeting. But maybe not as many as a meeting that I'm going to describe coming up. In any case, the pro speakers, just for fun, it's in the record, so I can say it, were Dr. Selig Weinstein, Bella Barani, Jean Brott, and Ida Jonas. Against, Joe Dorfman, Ben Silver, Herman Hertz, and Daisy Tallarico. The rabbi promises to implement these things appropriately, and it's also announced that the synagogue is down to 509 members. I'm not sure if that's 1970 or even 72. He left at the end of 72. There's a vote not to renew his contract, and but they called a meeting with the dissident members of the congregation to discuss with them the problems we face. The rabbi was asked to tell the congregation that it's his choice not to seek renewal of his contract. Now, there was a petition to reconsider, and some board members were a member of that petition. There was a phone call survey, and 80% of the congregation wanted his contract renewed. 350 congregants signed a petition. There's a timeline of this, but what I'm going to read you instead is an open letter to the congregation from concerned congregants upset that the rabbis was being asked to leave. We, the member families, are here tonight to ask the board, our elected representatives, some questions. These are neither moot nor rhetorical questions, but ones which demand answers if we are to be a unified temple family. Via the grapevine, several of us recently found out that the rabbi's contract had not been renewed by you, our representatives. This was a most shocking and disturbing revelation to us, not only to those of us here tonight, but also to the several hundreds of members who have signed or signified a desire to sign these petitions in favor of renewing the rabbi's contract. And so our first question is this: what means did the board use to fathom the feelings, the needs, desires of your congregational constituents in order to make this decision which affects the entire temple family? Our feedback, gained by hundreds of man-hours of telephoning and speaking to members, indicates a sizable positive feeling for Rabbi Kahan. Question number 2, what specific and serious complaints do you have? For serious they must be to prompt such a serious step, one that is traumatic to the congregation families who have received spiritual comfort from the rabbi, who've been aided by him with their children's Hebrew education, who found his Shabbat morning services pleasing. And if the complaints of his shortcomings are so serious, do you not think it fitting that they be shared with the congregation? The feedback which we have received from the temple members bespeaks a great resentment at not having their opinions solicited, a helplessness in the face of board secrecy, and high-level decision-making. A member, when told of the situation, asked why. Rabbi and congregation are like a marriage. It's never perfect, but both sides can learn together, grow together, and change for the better together. Question 3, what are you looking for in a rabbi? We, the congregation, has several needs: a spiritual leader, and according to reports from people here tonight or those who have signed this petition, Rabbi Kahan has been a comfort in their time of need. A religious leader. For those of us who do attend services, the rabbi conducts a hamish and satisfying Shabbat morning. One who is interested in the youth. Many of our children enjoy his classes. Parents for whose children he has found scholarship assistance to Hebrew camps are grateful to him. One who is trying to draw more members into active participation. Women who felt that the time had come for more active and equal religious participation found in him an understanding ally. The crux of the matter is embodied in question number 4. Does it not seem obvious to you as our elected representatives when questions pertaining to the basic issues of the hiring or firing of our rabbi or cantor or the merging of our temple that the entire temple family should be in on the decision making? We temple members are feeling disenfranchised, irrelevant, that our wishes and needs are neither interesting nor pertinent to our board of representatives. We feel that there is no accountability. And then the board decided to retire into closed session in order to decide how best to respond to these questions. Before they left, however, those present submitted a petition to the parliamentarian requesting that a congregational meeting be called in order that the entire temple family be able to decide the issue of the rabbi's contract. And they asked for an amendment to the bylaws because in the bylaws, it was that the congregation hires the rabbi and the cantor. But for firing, that's the board. So anyway, they are asked to amend to require congregational approval for hiring and termination of employment of the rabbi and cantor. And anyway, that's where it ended. He left anyway. I can tell you that I've been through one of those myself, not here. And this is not the only time that this happened here. You're going to learn a couple rabbis later it happened again. But for Rabbi Kahan, even when you have a certain a large percentage of the congregation, what happens is when it becomes so controversial that there are meetings and letters that go back and forth, people, they put so much into it that they begin to lose face, and they can't deal with each other. It's one of the reasons I am very conflict averse to lots of things, because congregational meetings about controversial subjects generally don't end well. And I know, like, there's skilled facilitators and all that, but I've seen it fail many, many times, and not just fail. So many people get hurt in the process. And so even though he won, the rabbi, in that sense, he lost, and he did the mensch thing and moved on. Now, still very sad for him. He went on to have an incredibly successful career, much more successful than he would have had here, given the demographic circumstances of this congregation. He went on to suburban DC. He had a very large congregation there. He also was the primary editor for the second edition of Sim Shalom, which the one we use at Minyan is that. He is the editor of that book, Rabbi Leonard Kahan. He has passed away. He passed away maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And the other thing that you should know about him, which is really interesting, is that he my first rabbinical Sunday conventions when I was working here, I was on the bus. We were on a bus from I don't know where, from the hotel to a synagogue or something. He hears me talking to somebody else. I'm at Temple Beth Abraham in Oakland. He's not a young man. He bursts up and runs to me to tell me the story of his time here. And it was really interesting. So anyway,
To warn you about us?
to some extent, although not really. He was. I think he thought it was going to come around eventually, and he kind of studied it. I think the demographics of Oakland his whole life, trying to figure out what was happening. Could it be resuscitated because it was his first baby? Same with Shul Weiss, who loved to talk about the synagogue with me a couple times that I was with him. They all wanted to know what was happening. Going forward, the other rabbis have not wanted to talk so much about it with me, and some have not even responded to the next two who you're going to meet. Did not even respond to my emails, but maybe because they're so old, they don't really understand email. I don't know, but still, I've tried to reach out to them to find out more about what time was like from their perspective, because we don't have that much information on the rabbis that follow them, in all honesty. But you're going to hear about Warnick and Kriegel next week, and that's the story of Rabbi Leonard Kahan. May his memory be blessed, and he did some wonderful things here, and he had to take the brunt of truly bringing women into the forefront of our congregation and leadership, which was not an easy thing to do. But he did it, so good for him. All right, that's enough for now. But I found it fascinating. All right, we're going to continue with Kiddush, and Paul, you want to lead us in Kiddush, page 55? Please rise. There are a few different musical selections tonight as well, so we're not quite done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'ratzah banu v'shavat kodshah v'yahava v'ratzon nifilanu zikaron l'maaseh Bereshit Kihu Yom Techilah L'Mikra'ei Kodesh Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim Ki Anu V'Acharta V'Yotanu Ki Nasha Mikol Ha'amim V'Shavat Kodshach V'Yahava V'Ratzon Nifilanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Hashem.
Time if you are near your children or anyone else you want to bless. Simech Elohim Kasari, Chala Kavalaya, Simcha Elohim Gavraim Elohim Menashe, Yerech Adonai Mishmerecha, Yerech Adonai Neka, Yisad Adonai Lecha V'Yasem Lecha Shalom, May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift the divine face toward you and grant you shalom. Amen. 57. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'chol l'tetu l'yotzer reshit shelo asanu kirei haratzon velo samanu k'mishnu ha'adam shelo samanu k'lahem v'kol aleinu k'kol ha'olam v'anahu b'yorim u'b'shachachim u'odim l'ifnei melech Malkei HaMalkim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shebunu Kishamayim Ve'yosef Haaretz U'moshav Mikarov Hashamayim Mima'al U'shkinatu Zo U'shkinatu Zo Ve'kaveh Meromim Hu Eloheinu Ve'eino Emek Malkeinu Efes Ulato Kakatu v'torato v'yadata yom v'hashemota elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim imam v'ya'aretz Torah Chachanayim Lo Le'olam Va'ed V'neh V'melech Al Kol Haaretz V'yom Ha'hu V'yom Ha'hu Yeh Adonai Echad U'shemo 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 Echad. May be seated. We love when we recall the memory of our departed relatives and friends as your such we observe during the coming week. Think especially tonight of Elwood Davidson, Jewel Ephraim Fass, Bertha Frankel, Frank Glasser, May Golding, Benjamin Gore, Herman Handloff, Thomas Lee Hastings, Carl Hirsch, Louis Judson, Harry Karsh, Caroline Kaufman, Samuel Kay, Morris Kessler, Heath Kurtz, Dorothy Lavin, Ethel Lewick, William Mandler, Sofika Hersku Montel, Marion McDowell, Harry Morovsky, Eliezer Nahari, Debbie Nesbitt, Michael Nesbitt, Charlotte Oppenheimer, Tom Rose, Susan Stein Schreiber, Helen Siegel, Morris Silverman, Morris Silver, Shirley Stillman, William Stern, Leslie Turchin, Anna Weintraub, Gertrude Zatkin. The members of all of them with us, we ask all those who are in mourning or observing your set of well, or else who choose to do so to rise for the morning cottage, page 61. Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Amen. V'yalmad yivrachu tei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei chol Beit Yisrael v'galav v'zman kariv v'yibru Amen. Yishrei Rabba Devarach le'olam yo'mei Maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shnei v'kutsha le'elam v'yikol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata, Nechemata, Gamiran, Yoma, V'Yimru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Shemaya, V'Chaim, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'Yimru, Amen. Hosei Shalom V'Yimru, Uyasei Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'Yimru, Amen. Remember the number of people who come to say Pastor. We bless you always. And let us say, Amen. Right, announcements tomorrow. We have our regular Shabbat morning services, sponsored by Michael and Renee Marks in memory of their mothers, prepared by Billy Gentry. Thank you to Sarah Roti for reading tonight. Sunday is a big day, a whole bunch of things are happening. We have PJ Library's Winter Play Day, we have the MacArthur Boulevard Cleanup, those both start at 10 a.m. We have dinner at service at City Team, which is a hunger kitchen. See Rick Heeger if you want to help. Do we have some people signed up or not?
We have a lot.
Oh, good.
So I think we're probably good.
So sign up for the next month. Good. When we also have our teen 8th through 10th program starting, Tikkun Beit Abraham, including confirmation class, and we have our Intro to Judaism class starting at 7:30. During the week on Wednesday, we have anti-Semitism and legal rights in K through 12 schools. Please RSVP to Virginia. You should really come to that. These are the experts in America who are speaking to us. So please do come. And if you have a middle schooler or high schooler, you should come with them. And they'll have their own discussion too with the people there. So please do try to come to that. The other thing we need you to come to, attendance is really low right now, but there's still time to sign up for the TBA Masquerade Gala Gourmet, Saturday, February 8th at 6 p.m. And I'll keep saying this, if you think it's expensive, it's probably cheaper than any other dinner you've had in the last 2 years out in the Bay Area. Okay, so unless you go to In-N-Out or something. You know,
How much is it?
it's $100 a person, is that?
$150.
$150, so maybe it's not cheaper than every dinner, but it's still but it's a, you know, it's a fundraiser, and you're almost spending that much, and you're at your dinner's out. Anyway, please go, and the food's amazing, and it's super fun. All right, so so that's enough for, well, next Saturday, Mia White becomes bat mitzvah, and then
Yay!
yeah, and then 1 week off, and then 3 weeks in a row, bat mitzvahs, so, including Roxy. Are you the 15th or 22nd?
15.
Okay, so yeah, you really are a couple weeks away. All right. There are two songs. Well, there's more than two songs, but there's two different artists we are going to be honoring tonight. The first one is not famous at all, and he's not really an artist. He's more of a preschool teacher. Ed Silverman, who taught here for many years, died today or yesterday. And there's a funeral on Monday at the Marin Cemetery, and we just found this out today. And for those, Ed, he was he was an older guy while he was teaching preschool, and he also taught first grade Hebrew school here for a year or two. He was a quirky guy. I mean, I don't know. Very, very odd guy. Really great storyteller. Or he had a lot of stories anyway. They didn't always have an ending, the stories, but they had just really engaging. Loved Judaism and Jewish culture. Loved the freight and salvage too. He volunteered and worked there. I mean, you know, my kids loved him. He's just really a neat guy, and we'll miss him.
Bay Area hippie.
Very hippie, absolutely. Now the song that we're doing for him, he wrote a couple extra verses of plagues to the frog song. So I'm going to do those for you, and we're reading the plagues in the Parsha tomorrow. Right? This is in Parsha Vayera. We have the plagues.
You mean freight and salvage, like the place that does all the concerts?
Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's the place. All right, so we're going to start with the original, and then I'll do two more plagues. One day Pharaoh woke, there were frogs in his bed, frogs in his bed and frogs on his head, frogs on his nose and frogs on his toes, frogs here, frogs there, frogs were jumping everywhere. One morning when Pharaoh was combing his hair, he noticed that lice were crawling in there, lice in his comb and lice in his home. Lice here, lice there, he was itching everywhere. This is Ed. One morning when Pharaoh went out in the street, it was so dark that Pharaoh couldn't see his feet, couldn't see his nose, and couldn't see his toes. Dark here, dark there was darkness everywhere. Thank you, Ed. He will be missed. Great guy, miss. Remember to be blessing. The last member of the band died, Garth Hudson. We're going to do bits of 4 songs. The first two are not covers. The first two are the band songs. But the first one, Joan Baez's version is more famous. It's The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, and you know, it's in many ways a controversial song because people think it portrays a positive view of the South before the Civil War. According to Levon Helm, who also died not that long ago, it's actually just an anti-war song in his view, and the consequences and the death on all sides of war. Also, Levon Helm is a indigenous person from Canada. That's his ancestry. So it's very interesting too. And yet he's writing these songs about, you know, white Southerners. But anyways, that's the first one. The second one, which I've already done, but we're going to do it again because it's the band's most famous song, is The Wait. It's probably their most famous song. It is their original. It only made it to number 63 on the charts, but it has staying power because it's an amazing song. It's not. It seems to have Christian overtones. I pulled into Nazareth, but it's about like Nazareth, Pennsylvania, or something, and all these characters there. That's really what it's all about. But they like their songs to have multiple meanings. The third one is a Bruce Springsteen song. It's called Atlantic City. And the band has a really good version of it too, and Everyone Dies, Baby, That's a Fact, and that's what's happening here as well. And then the last one is covered by just about everyone. It's a Bob Dylan song. Their cover is one of the most famous. It's called I Shall Be Released. The Dead covers it. Nina Simone has a really good and pretty well-known cover of it too. But if you like list who covers it, it's like everybody and every style of artists covered. So those are the ones that we're going to be doing. All right. Oh, and just before we go there, a couple guests. We just want to. They're not really guests. They've all been here before, but still, David, right? This is Paul's brother, David, from Boston. So welcome back. And we have Ron and Sarah, right? So welcome to them. Sarah's goes to Cal Law. Ron's in tech of some sort. It's a good. You just say that anyway, right? So welcome back to them. All right, here we go. Like my father before me, I'm a working man. Like my brother before me, I took a rebel stand. He was just 18, proud and brave, but a Yankee laid him in his grave. I swear by the blood below my feet, you can't raise the cane back up when it's in the sea. The night they drove old Dixie down, all the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They went la 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 la. Pulled into Nazareth, I was feeling about half past dead. Just needed some place where I could lay my head. Hey, mister, can you tell me where a man might find a bed? Shook my hand, no was all he said. Take a load off Annie, take a load for free, yeah. Take a load off Annie, and you put the load right on me. It's really about the mob, this song. Everything dies, baby, that's a fact. But maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Put your makeup on, fix your hair up pretty, and meet me tonight in Atlantic City. One more time. Everything dies, baby, that's a fact. Maybe everything that dies someday will come back. Put your makeup on, fix your hair up pretty, and meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Say everything can be replaced. Yeah, every distance is not near. I remember every face of every man who put me here. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. highly recommend the Dylan movie if you can't see it. It's amazing. They say everyone needs protection. They say that every man must fall. Yet I swear I see my reflection somewhere so high above this wall. I see my light. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. From the west down to the east. Any day now. Any day now. Any day now. I shall be released. Do that part one more time. Any day now. Any day now, I shall be released. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And may Ed and Garth rest in peace.